This excerpt was taken from a Full and Bloom interview with producer Ric Browde. To listen to more interviews with Ric, click the links in the description. Did you think Talk Dirty to Me would blow up like it did?
I thought that and Cry Tough were the two songs that were going to be the winning songs. And Cry Tough was actually a song that I wrote with a German guy named Mario Timmer. We run a song called Out in the Streets, and it's dead note for note. It was just an arrangement with their lyrics on it. But I thought it was a good anthem.
Wow. And did you get, I know it says that they wrote all the songs on the back.
Yeah, but then there were lawsuits behind it. And
yeah, you know, what's funny is I had heard just probably 2, 3, 4 years ago, it was some other
I Want
band.
Action was written by, remember a band called Easy Action, and then there was a guy named Zinny Zach. What was that band called? They were a Finnish band that were around.
Oh, like Shotgun Messiah?
Yeah, Shotgun Messiah. And Zinny wrote that song. And I remember telling Zinny, I was like, going, Zinny, did you hear this? This is I Want Action. You know, and their song was I Want Action Tonight. This is dead riff. So there was all sorts of lawsuits on that album, and they were all settled quietly behind, and I had to sue Poison to get my money because of the lawsuits about their plagiarism.
You had a lawsuit with them?
Yeah. It settled out of court. There's a settlement, you know, there's a non-disclosure agreement that I had a considerably more money than, you know, they tried to, it was a lawyer's wet dream, that album.
But didn't you get points being a producer? Didn't you get points?
I did.
Okay.
But I had to go to court to get paid.
Oh, to get paid on your points?
Yeah, because, Smallwood and the band tried to blackmail me into supporting in their plagiarism suits. And I was like, oh, you know, sorry, I'm not going to do that.
I know that album took 9 months or several months before it took off, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was released for quite a few months. And then it was really funny. I was going to, the Motley Crue's manager at the time was a guy named Doc McGhee.
Sure.
And he's legendary. And Doc was getting married, and he was getting and he had a reception aboard the Circle Line in this boat that goes around Manhattan. And, you know, I went, my wife was an executive with Polygram, and Derek Shulman, who later became a was the lead singer of Gentle Giant, and then became the big A&R guy who did Motley Crue, signed Bon Jovi's Cinderella and, you know, Could Do No Wrong, and then became the president of Atco Records, where it totally collapsed. But Derek's like going, congratulations. And I'm like, congratulations on what? And he goes, Poison's on the charts. So I'm like, what? You know, because I came home from doing that album, and I remember telling my wife, this is the biggest piece of shit I have ever done. I can't believe I did this. This is just so awful, this record. And she's going, I like it. And I'm like, God, I'd never trust you again. And so he's like telling me the Poison gets the charts. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it was, you know, I went out and got Billboard, and there it was. It's like 196 or something. I have no idea. You know, but like, he's going, I think it's going to be big. He was English, and I was like, no, it can't be. And then every week it would go up and go up and go up. And I remember I was doing Faster Pussycat, I think it was, at Amiga Studios, and Michael Wagener, who was a close friend of mine and was the engineer who did the mixes with Poison.
Right.
Was in doing White Lion, and I was doing Faster Pussycat, and, you know, adjacent studios at Amiga Studios. We had this thing where it's like, I said, as it was like shooting up the charts, it's going to number 1. Bon Jovi was like ahead of us forever. I think we peaked at number 2, and I was like, you know, I said, well, I'll fly everybody to France for dinner if we go to number 1, and never did make it. But the funny thing was, when we went to mix the album, Michael had the option of a point or $2,500 to do that, to do the mixes.
Right, and he took the cat.
He took the $2,500.
Right.
Because unfortunately he blames me, and he has every right to, because I said to him, it was like, you'll never see a dime. That album sucked. And so Michael is like, he's such a good-natured guy. He's one of the truly wonderful people of rock and roll. And you look at the albums that he's done, and oh my God, he's done so well for himself.
Huge fan of his work.
Still churning out, and he's just the sweetest, nicest human being. So, you know, it's always been a joke. Every time we've seen each other, every time we talk to each other, you know, he's just a brilliant guy. I ended up doing 5 albums with him in collaboration with him.
Did you really? Which ones?
he mixed the first and second Victory albums, Poison. What else did we do? This horrible thing called Smash Gladys.
Oh yeah, I remember them.
And Herman Rarebell. Yeah.
Did you ever come across Great White at all?
Yeah. When we were doing Herman Rarebell's solo album, Jack sang some of the lead vocals. We started with the original version had this German guy, and we replaced him, and we used Jack. We started using Stephen Percy, but he couldn't cut it, and so Dokken and Jack ended up singing most of that album.
That was going to be the next question. I'm sure you came across Dokken as well, because him and Michael were really good friends. But
they were living together, and yeah, I think that Don may have been the one who introduced me to Michael. It's funny, and Don moved down the street from where I used to live, and so I constantly I was hyper aware. I wouldn't say we were close, but we were friendly, and I used to see him and George Lynch fight all the time. And then being sued by his band for his own last name, I thought was pretty funny.
What was it like recording Jack? His voice is pretty incredible.
He was really together. I mean, the guy belted it out. He's a good singer, nice enough guy. He drank a lot, but nice enough guy. I'd give him an A. He was a nice guy. Just wasn't. He went and did his job, and that was that. The hero on the album to me was Stevie Marriott, because he did one track and he just like one take done. And the engineer and I looked at each other and like going, "Did you do any better? Did you make sure you had that on record?" Yep. Okay, good, because it was perfect.
You said when you were cutting the Faster Pussycat, he's doing that White Lion record. Do you have any White Lion record?
Greg D'Angelo, the drummer, is one of my really close friends to this day of White Lion. Also most of my White Lion stories are sort of secondhand, but I think the funniest thing was that the singer in White Lion, Mike Tramp, like so many people in rock and roll, thought he was going to be the hugest star because they had that big hit, and so he went and bought a house out of a catalog and had this house custom made. But unlike most people, he didn't buy a piece of land to put the house on. His career hit the skids, and he had the first homeless house. So he bought this huge house, and they had it on a trailer, and they dumped it on Malcolm Forbes' estate because he couldn't pay for it. I thought that was just really, really funny. But I don't have many stories of White Lion. I mean, Greg is still one of my dear friends, and I'm aware of the politics of the band. And Greg is one of the smartest people in rock and roll and one of the nicest people.
And he was in Anthrax for a while, I think, in the very early days. Yeah,
he just did something with the original singer of Anthrax, or original guitar player of Anthrax. And he was doing something, and he's played with Ozzy, and he was playing with Stephen Pearcy, and he was doing some rap things, and he makes far more money doing what he does now. So
he had his own studio, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I recorded there, and they recorded one of my albums, did a lot of recording there, a lot of mixing there. Don't